3 on Sunday at noon. The JU men's baseball team hope to regroup from their loss to the Gators earlier this week as they host Illinois State for a 3-game series starting tomorrow at 6. It's 52 degrees at 12 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our 3 sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dawes. Hey!
This is Helmets and Heels
on 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor. Show me what you got, pretty lady.
We are here live from First Florida Credit Union. We are at 6319 Roosevelt Boulevard, the South Ortega Marketplace Shopping Center in front of the Super Target. I have family that live just down the road. Hopefully they'll stop on by, because if you do come by today, tomorrow, or Saturday, you can win a $300 Visa gift card. You don't even have to be a member of First Florida Credit Union. So get on by today, tomorrow, or Saturday in order to win that. Ladies, our good friend Hayes Carline is going to join us in the next segment. Certainly he's good friends with the people here at First Florida, and we appreciate them having us out. So I was talking to him yesterday about the Florida basketball team, and I told him how I was a little nervous about Todd Golden leaving for the NBA, or maybe even leaving for another blue blood program. But as I started to think about it, I was like, we need Liam Cohen for the Jaguars to do exactly what Todd Golden has done for the Florida Gators.
Well, didn't I say this yesterday? And I said, or I either said it on our program or I said it on a different program. And I said, yes, that same juice, quote unquote, that Trevor Lawrence said with Up and Adams the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's.
But
yes.
it goes beyond the youthful energy. It goes into completely transforming a roster.
Yeah.
It goes into creating an offense and a defense that has identities, and being able to do it within 3 years.
Well,
Obviously, Florida was pretty successful last year, way more successful this year. If the Jaguars can be on that same trajectory, then we're cooking with gas.
The reason that I said it, if you remember, either yesterday or the day before, was because I said we just don't want the off-the-court stuff. We don't want any of that. But aside from that, yes.
But even
yes.
if Liam was accused of something, like with Todd Golden, there's no evidence. I'm not saying that's going to happen
right.
to Liam,
Yep.
nor do we want it
yes.
to.
Yeah. Yep.
But he was able to certainly to overcome that, and he wouldn't have been employed if his boss didn't think that he was innocent of all that. But I do feel like there's a rejuvenation in Gainesville for the men's basketball program. Certainly the Florida football side of things, it started to have a really good season towards the end of last season. They're hoping to improve things. But what Golden's been able to do, can Liam Cohen rejuvenate the Jaguars as quickly as Golden did Florida? That's, to me, a gigantic question.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about the coaching side of it, and I guess the biggest difference when you're talking about what Todd Golden's been able to do at Florida and what Liam Cohen can do is Todd Golden's the one out there recruiting these guys and saying who he wants out of the portal. And yeah, I'm sure Liam Cohen's going to have a say in some of those things, but ultimately, whoever this general manager is going to be is a major factor in this, because what this person does in free agency and in the draft is a massive part of what has been lacking here in Jacksonville for a long time. Once you get those players and give them to Liam Cohen, yes, it's a massive thing of what he can turn around and create and develop and turn it into something that you have guys that right away you feel like, okay, we just drafted these guys 4 months ago, and it's somebody that you feel like is already making an impact on the team. And I feel like outside of Brian Thomas Jr., there hasn't been a whole lot of those guys in the recent years, especially in the Trent Baalke time. So I do think that it's a little different of how we can expect Liam Cohen to do it, because you also have to have somebody bringing the right people here in the first place.
Well, yeah, a 53-man roster is a little different than a 12-man roster in basketball, so it's certainly easier to overhaul. And with the transfer portal, that's completely different than free agency. There's not necessarily the cost outside of NIL for that transfer portal. But Mia, to me, the key here is the talent evaluation. That's what Golden's been able to do such a great job of. Can Liam Cohen and the GM and Tony Baselli and everybody under Cohen, can they do that here?
I think it's more than talent evaluation, quite frankly. I think it goes back to what we talked about yesterday about hustling for every single loose ball, hustling for every rebound, having that championship quote-unquote DNA. And I think that can be a learned behavior as well. It's if you have an expectation of, if you don't do this, you will not fit who we are. And that is a standard. And that is a standard that, quite frankly, what have we sat here for months on end, even before the ill-fated 2024 season, and said, what is the identity of the Jacksonville Jaguars? What is acceptable? What is not acceptable? Can you define what it means to be a Jacksonville Jaguar? And the answer is no. Right now, at this juncture, you can clearly identify and articulate what it means to be a Florida Gator men's basketball player.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we've talked about that a lot of, like, being a Jaguar and like what that means to players when they come here. And unfortunately in recent years that hasn't meant a whole lot. And Leon Cersei was asked a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago, of if you can train or develop somebody into being that like dog type of tough player. And Leon said no. Leon said there's guys that have that and there's guys that don't. It doesn't mean the guys that don't can't be good players. There's certain guys in this league that have that extra umph of the meanness, of the toughness, of the aggressiveness, of that savage mentality. So you do want to be able to have a general manager and a coach who can identify those and mesh those along with guys who don't have quite those personalities, but it can bring as much of that out. And so that's been such a problem here. We've talked about the aggressiveness of this team, or lack thereof, and I think that when we're identifying now, that's why we're talking so much about the trenches, because the trenches, we just haven't had that. Everybody is running all over the defensive line, and everybody's pushing our offensive line backwards, and those are the two things that you want to fix. And when you talk about the trenches, you talk about guys being mean, tough, and gritty, and you just haven't felt like you had those. So identifying the talent, I think, is one part, but identifying those type of personalities that fit and up the whole locker room to a next level is important
but
too.
you can be a dog. Sorry, Mia. You can be a dog and still not be a great football player.
Oh,
right? There's the opposite side of the coin too. And I'm not saying that Jacksonville has necessarily a problem with that. I think Jacksonville has had a problem with the talent evaluation. If you missed on an Andre Sisco, for instance, if you missed on a Devin Lloyd, if you missed on a Mason Smith, it's early, but I'm just throwing the recent defensive draft picks out there. If you missed on those guys, even if they have a dog mentality, you're still then having to either re-sign, get guys in free agency and sign them, or having to draft those players, those position groups all over again.
Well, so here's the thing. To that point, I agree with Leon that there are certain personalities, the alpha. You can't coach that, but you also don't want a team full of alphas. Because we saw
that's what I'm saying. You need somebody who identifies and can mesh the two together, and we haven't been able to do that.
There has to be certain thresholds, right? Again, that's what I go back to. What is the standard? What are those qualities that define what being a Jacksonville Jaguar is? Maybe it's competitive nature. Maybe it's a love for football. Maybe it's care for others, care for city. I don't know.
Playing fast,
right? Those can be the different facets that you need to check those boxes. Now, you can check those boxes and you can maybe be more of an introvert. You could check those boxes and maybe not be a rah-rah in-your-face guy. But so
Brian
long
Thomas Jr.
But so long as you have those rah-rah in-your-face guys in your locker room and you have a couple of them to pair with a BTJ, to pair with a Trevor Lawrence who may not necessarily want to be as in-your-face as other quarterbacks are, that's where you create that entire team dynamic, because you need some sense of urgency, but you also need to clearly define who you are moving forward. And that's where I give Todd Golden a lot of credit, because you can clearly see in the way that the Florida Gators basketball team plays who they are and what they want to accomplish. I will also add this, listening to Daniel Jeremiah on Move the Sticks, he was doing his most recent mock draft, right? And just casually, he references, well, this guy, he just plays like a Baltimore Raven. Like this guy, he just screams Baltimore Raven. That's what you want to get to if you are the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want to reach that point of, if you see a player who maybe they're vocal, maybe they're not, but they just love football, or they're just so physical, or they're just so competitive, and you say, oh, yeah, that fits who we want to be.
Because they have a GM and a front office staff in place who draft well.
Yeah.
It's such a huge part of it, and it seems so obvious, but I bring that up, obviously, because the Jaguars are currently going through the GM search. They have now already brought in 2 candidates and told us that they've completed the interviews in person. And, of course, it started with Josh Williams for the 49ers, and then you have Ian Cunningham from the Bears. And, Taylor, for the next 2 hours, we want you to break down all things Bears, because the listeners love when you talk Bears. Just kidding, obviously. But it's funny to me that it feels like we don't really know who it's going to be, and yet there's so much excitement just because it's not going to be Trent Baalke. Like, as long as you've turned the corner, and Trent has drafted or did draft some good players. They weren't all terrible, but because the organization is moving in a different direction, unless, of course, it's the interim Ethan Waugh, then people will certainly revert back to panic. But literally, the fans are just excited that it's anyone other than who has been here.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. And I also think you can look at some of the other worst organizations in the league, like the Browns and the Jets, who have struggled for a long time. The Bears, you can throw in that have struggled for a long time. And all of those have hit on draft players. Everybody can hit on a draft player, especially when you're drafting in the top 5. Like, come on, there's the chance of you blowing
Not
that.
always.
Yeah, like, but even that, like, and I know we have this Trayvon Aiden Hutchinson conversation a lot, but it's in the realm of you can hit on draft picks every now and then, and especially when you do have, and that was Balky's biggest flaw, was he was zoned in on this one type of player he liked, and it hurt him in certain areas. It won in certain times and hurt him in other times. And I think that having a general manager, and we don't know who it's going to be, what their mindset is, if they do have that super type of guy that they like, but hopefully, and that's the hope, is that you're bringing someone in here where it's a clean slate and you feel like you can now totally reevaluate this roster, and they're looking at it with fresh, clean eyes of, okay, what players do I really, really think deserve to be on this roster right now? Who has starting spots? Who do I think we've not seen enough of and that we could develop into better players? And that's what's refreshing, because it almost felt like we were in this cycle of Trent Baalke drafted these people, so he's attached to some of these people, and we are never growing outside of that.
And in the end, or at the end of the day, in 2022, the Jaguars made the playoffs for one of the final 8 teams left standing, right? Obviously lost in Kansas City to the Chiefs in that divisional round. And then everything got worse pretty much from there. Yes, it was 8-3 to start the next season, but we all know how it ended, and then certainly last year only 4 wins. It can be turned around just as quickly as the demise occurred. You can have a winning football team year in and year out. The question, of course, then comes back to how good of a coach is Liam Cohen right off the rip? We've never seen him as a head coach in the NFL. Is he going to be the type of guy that makes all those correct in-game decisions, knows when to put certain guys in and out and things like that? How good is Anthony Campanile as a defensive coordinator? That part is fun too. We focus so much on the GM, but the actual coaching side of things too matters so incredibly much. And again, to bring it back to Golden, he's done a lot of those right things. He's subbed properly, and that's led his team to be number 2 in the nation right now.
I also think, and look, this isn't, as we've said here on the Superstation, and others will continue to do so nationally, this is not a rebuild per se here in Jacksonville comparatively to ground zero that Doug Peterson inherited once upon a time in 2022 compared to what Dan Campbell inherited in 2021. At the same time, I do think you have to be a little patient. You have to let not only Liam Cohen take his lumps, you have to let this team, a collective, take its lumps, because sustainability should be the focus, not the quick turnaround. Mm-hmm. A sustainable turnaround is what you need to be focused on right now if you're Jacksonville.
Yeah, and I mentioned that a few weeks ago. If sometimes it's going to be, you're not going to love everything this new general manager comes in here and does, because it's going to be some uncomfortable decisions that he may have to make, and you're going to have to say goodbye to some players that maybe you have some attachments to, or some players that maybe you felt like what had the potential of developing into something else. But that is part of having someone come in here and building for beyond 1 or 2 years, and having someone come in here and building this product of, okay, we're looking at the next decade. We're not looking at, can you go win in 2 years? You signed Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be here for another 7 years. So you want to build this time for beyond that, but especially the 7 years that Trevor Lawrence is for sure in Jacksonville.
And when I say sustainability, what I mean by that too is creating a never satisfied attitude. And I don't want to suggest that in 2023 there were moments where perhaps this team felt like they were on the mountaintop and they were complacent. They had built it. It's built. Mm-hmm. There were also moments, and Andrew Dewey Wingard has been very transparent, there were moments where they were more worried about losing than they were about winning. Mm-hmm. And that is not sustainable. And so that's why I think it's okay. And I'm not subscribing to like, hey, you'd be satisfied with a 6-win season. I'm not saying that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is you want to create a culture and an attitude where, hey, just because we won 8 games and made the playoffs, or, not 8 games, but 10 games and made the playoffs, that's not enough. You're seeing that with Dan Campbell. That's why I make the comparison to that.
And there's other organizations that are there. The Steelers are an organization that they might make the playoffs and then lose right away, and that's not good enough. And that's where you want to get to. And Liam Cohen said that in his opening press conference. He said, I'm not here to coach this team to not lose, or to not lose. I want to coach this team to win. And there is a difference in that and the way he's going to coach. And I do think watching Doug Peterson on the sidelines for the last 3 years and watching Liam Cohen on the sidelines, we've only seen him as an OC, obviously, but what we will see energy-wise on the sidelines, I think it's going to be totally different. And Trevor, I think, has spoken to that too, that now the head coach is the play caller. That will shift things. And they tried Press Taylor up in the box. They tried Press Taylor on the field.
They tried split play calling.
They tried not telling
hiding us
us
the
the
play
play
calling.
I don't know that there ever was split play calling.
Well,
I think that's what they led us to believe. There was split play calling.
In 22,
I think Doug was a part of it.
Press did definitively. I can tell you on good record. Press definitively called games in the second half, but it was Doug's playbook.
I think Press Taylor might have also called plays in the first half. That is the part that I think wasn't necessarily communicated. But at this point, who cares?
Yeah.
Taylor has Press Taylor up in Chicago, but he's not the OC, so they'll move on from there. We are live here at First Florida Credit Union at 6319 Roosevelt Boulevard. Come and say hello to us and say hello to Hayes Carlin, who will join us next. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL is your home for NBA play-by-play.
Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic look to take down Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and the Grizzlies. Friday night at 6:30, 10:10 a.m.
Don't miss the Players' Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Mia here. New Year's resolutions are upon us, but let's be honest, by February, right now, February 20th, that gym membership, it probably already feels like a $50 per month guilt trip, right? Why not take that cash and finally fix that leaky faucet, unclog that drain, or tune up that AC? Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning has your back. Visit duckduckrooter.com or call today, 904-862-6769. Start the year off fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses. Duck Duck Rooter, 904-862-6769.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
An ACL tear can be a devastating injury with prolonged pain and rehabilitation. Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari. I'm a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon who grew up right here in Jacksonville and then went on to train with the world-renowned Dr. James Andrews. At Bari Orthopedics, we use the most current techniques to get you back on the field with less pain and quicker rehabilitation. We treat all types of sports injuries with the newest techniques available. Please call us for consultation or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
This is Daytona, the awe-inspiring spectacle of Supercross, and the most challenging course to witness the air-catching, adrenaline-pumping, heart-pounding action unlike any other race in Florida. Daytona Supercross. The biggest names battle it out under the lights at the World Center of Racing. Don't miss it. The gate drops Saturday, March 1st. Secure your tickets and trackside access today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Find out why soccer is the most popular game in the world and spreading fast on the First Coast.
On the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour.
Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
Joe C. for Preferred Roofing, reminding you your roof is more than just felt and shingles. It's a system that not only keeps your home dry, but also impacts your heating and cooling bills. Preferred Roofing and Construction is a GAF Master Elite Roofing Contractor lauded for having the ability to educate and inform homeowners on their options. Why GAF and Preferred Roofing? They're veteran-owned and operated with ties to Duval for decades. A family business ready to make sure your family has a good roof over its head. Log on, preferredroofingjacks.com.
When You hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL. It's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators. And Farrah and Farrah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging in the mirror? Fine lines, sun damage, redness? They don't have to be part of your future. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, and I can help you look and feel your best without invasive surgery or painful treatments. Imagine rejuvenating your skin in a relaxing, comfortable environment with minimal to no downtime. Smooth out fine lines, even skin tone, and restore that youthful glow. Find out how to look and feel your best at dermagnify.com. Dermagnify.com.
craft beers, food trucks, live music, and more beer at the Riverside Craft Beer Festival this Sunday afternoon at Riverside Arts Market. Get your tickets at riversidecraftbeerfestival.com. Proceeds benefit Community Peace Care and the Rotary Foundation.
Staying Alive, One Night of the Bee Gees, a tribute like you've never seen before. Experience the songs and sights of a full Bee Gees playlist performed live. March 6th at Jack Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
1010XL is presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Taylor Dahl, Mia O'Brien, RJ Saunders back at 1010XL headquarters. I'm Lauren Brooks as we're live here from First Florida Credit Union, and we welcome in our first guest. I'll say friend of the program, even though I'm not sure have you been on our show yet, Hayes? That might be a travesty if you haven't.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good.
But I'm friends with all of you guys.
Everybody.
So, yeah, whether I've been on the show or not, I'm definitely a friend of the program. I would like to think at least.
Of course. Jaguars beat reporter Hayes Carlin, also from the Frangie Show. Hayes, we'll start with the goings-on here at First Florida Credit Union. This is the brand new branch on Roosevelt Boulevard, 6319 Roosevelt. Tell us a little bit more about First Florida.
Yeah, I've been a member here for several years now, and it's phenomenal. They've been fantastic. They helped me set up my car loan. They couldn't have been better about it. Great rate, so friendly, easy to set it up. And, this branch is gorgeous. We're right here in front of the Target here on Roosevelt Boulevard. First Florida Credit Union is celebrating their 75th anniversary. So, they're really they've established themselves as a great brand here in this market. They do an outstanding job in terms of community. They're sponsoring FSCJ and their athletics, and they're doing wonderful things. So,
nice.
It's a great time, and we're certainly lucky to be out here to help them raise some awareness. But yeah, if you're looking for a financial institution, First Florida Credit Union, that's where you need to go. And we've got refreshments here today. Zaxby's was kind enough to drop off some things, so come get a sandwich and say hello to us and find out about all the great offerings that First Florida Credit Union can do. I mean, they are enriching people every day. So I can speak from experience. It's where you need to be.
And people can register to win a $300 gift card that they're giving away every day, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And then also people can register to win 2 tickets to see the Coral Reefer Band at Daly's Place Saturday, March 15th. The tribute band for, of course, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, I mean, how much fun will that be? I mean, Daly's
Place. I need a margarita now just to talk about it.
I mean, it's what a day. We were talking about this yesterday, Lauren and I, and it's it's the third round of the Players, so you could go to the Players for a little bit and then go see the Jimmy Buffett tribute band at Daly's Place. I mean, what a day. And if you're not if golf isn't your thing, then just go to the beach or start
Sure, you
tailgating
take
and
advantage
good.
of the ride share partners that
Yeah.
the players has, and then
That's
you go
right.
from Ponte Vedra back to downtown Hayes.
Absolutely. But yeah, that'll be a great show. But yeah, come on out and enter to win. And you guys will announce the winner at the end of the show. So you got time to get out here. And but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys coming out here. So hopefully everybody will have a fantastic time.
Of course. Let's just now spend the next 10 minutes talking about Scream 7.
Yes. How about it? Stu, what's going to be the role?
I'm just kidding, but Hayes and I have had many conversations about what the Scream 7 could possibly look
Hello,
like. So
Taylor.
Everyone thought she
It's
wanted to talk
time,
about the Bears.
girlfriend.
Yeah, she wants to talk about Scream 7
exactly.
with you.
No, but I do want to get into a little bit of the Jaguars roster and where they're at. We're still waiting for this general manager to be announced as these final interviews happen. And so that will dictate things. I think we'll know a little bit of a mindset of maybe where they'll go once that happens. But we have free agency coming up, obviously Combine next week. You are a little bit more high on the roster than I am and thinking they're close.
A second flyover? How good is this? I mean, a second flyover today? I just asked for one. I mean, we got two flyovers today, and we still have another hour and 40 minutes here.
Again, I want to reiterate, Carlion has gotten us free food and free for you as well, Gilligan. So stop by First Florida Credit Union on Roosevelt. So you got free food, free lunch. There's also donuts and Dunkin' Donuts in there as well, folks. You got us a flyover. There's multiple gift giveaways. Like, I don't know what else we could ask for, but
I'm sorry, Taylor.
No, it's okay. That was perfect timing. It was like, Taylor, shut up about this roster already. No, I just feel like you are, and I've heard you talking on the Frangie show, and you are a little higher on where the roster is right now. I think that there's a lot of holes and a lot of development pieces that you're kind of banking on, and I don't know if you can quite do that, but you're a little higher. So tell me, in your opinion, where this roster sits. What do you think that maybe top 2-3 biggest needs are, and thoughts on that area?
Yeah, it's great questions. I would say I did a 53 just kind of on my own for fun a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's fun.
If you're a geek like me, that's a fun way to kill 20 minutes of your day.
Now, were you accounting for draft capital?
I wasn't. So I was just looking at like let's try and get a sense of like what's the nucleus look like. And I came up with 39 guys that I feel like are absolutely on the team. So where that leads me in it is, okay, you have 10 draft picks, and they're all going to make the roster, assuming they don't trade, out, and maybe they end up picking 7 guys if they were to trade up or something like that. But discounting for that, you've got 10 picks. They're all going to make the team because it's a new administration. They're all going to love their guys. So that's 10 guys right there. So now I'm at 49 guys. And really once you get to 46 through 53, those guys are going to churn anyway. So I'm really worried about, like, what's the first, 42 to 45 look like? Well, if I'm at 39 and I know they're adding 10 picks, that they're all going to make the team, assuming they can walk and chew gum at this level, which I would assume they can. So I think in looking at it, I just think the new GM, I would actually, normally if a GM comes in and you're doing a bunch of interviews, the one that usually I think you're going to gravitate towards is the one that maybe wants to do the most radical stuff, particularly when you're a losing organization. I actually think as Shad and Baselli and Liam kind of go through this, I think the best way to build this is to be a little patient. Like, yes, you're going to sign free agents, but I don't think they need to sign 7 or 8. I mean, maybe you go to, maybe you get one kind of high price guy, maybe 2 or 3 other guys that are in that, second wave, and then you have those 10 picks. So I don't think they're in a position where it's we gotta turn over 30 guys on this roster. I do think they have some intriguing pieces on rookie contracts, and I think in looking at it, I think a lot of it was coaching. I think Doug Peterson was resting on his laurels. I think he delegated way too much of the offense to Press Taylor, and unfortunately, he never got defensive coordinator right in 2 hires, and the second hire was worse than the first hire. So
which none of us saw coming, but that's
right.
neither here nor there.
Oh yeah, I thought right. We'll have Ryan Nielsen. Don't get used to Ryan Nielsen being here. We're going to have him 1 year, and he's going to be coaching the Saints or something.
That's what we were told 1 year ago.
Yeah. I mean, I totally bought in. I mean, I'm as guilty. I totally bought into Ryan Nielsen. And look, and Lauren's mentioned this, and it's a good point. Like, he went through, obviously, family crisis with his wife's medical thing, and, so you don't want to discount that. But anyway, at the end of the day, on the field, the product wasn't where it needed to be from a coaching standpoint. The cheap shot on Trevor, you couldn't have handled that worse.
Yeah.
If you were a head coach, he'd have been better off pretending it never. I mean,
just being like, what hit?
Yeah,
What
I mean,
hit?
but to try and deflect and blame Jarian for his reaction and hug D'Amico Ryans. I watched Doug Peterson shake hands with the coach every game that I attend. And because I always find it interesting, what's the dynamic like? You never know when it's going to be one of these Jim Harbaugh, Jim Schwartz, where he kind of slaps him on the butt and then Schwartz tears after him for 40 yards.
Urban and Vrabel.
Yeah,
never
right.
forget. Yeah.
And so, and I was shocked because Peterson's usually like handshake, hey, best of luck to you, and you move on. I mean, he's like hugging. I mean, I was waiting for him to jump into Miko Ryans' arms. And so I think with Liam Cohen, I was concerned at first with Liam Cohen because of the inexperience, but I love the edge he has. And I think that even though he's an offensive mind, he does have that edge to him. So, I mean, from a roster standpoint, I think the roster's actually in pretty good shape. I just think they needed a total shot in the arm when it came to energy with the coaching staff, and I think they have that. So, yeah, I don't look at it as a massive rebuild.
I know we can already tell what our Heeligans want to know from you, Carline. And I know you said it yesterday on the Frangie Show, but handicap for us, your expectations, the general manager search. From your gut feeling, from what you're hearing, everything together as we enter day 2 of the process.
Yeah, I would think it's Ian Cunningham is the leader, but I mean, I again, you just don't know how the interviews are going to go with what they still have to come. And, and perhaps somebody really dazzles them with his presentation. So, however it goes, I think it's going to be really exciting. They had to get rid of Balky. That was, I mean, why it took 2 weeks, we'll never know, but they at least finally made the decision of, okay, this is obviously the worst decision I've ever made as owner, and I need to rethink this. So I think really no matter which direction they go, here we go.
Oh, wow. Wow. Now we're really
power.
elements out here.
But
our tent decided to blow away there. And we lost the box, too. It's all good. It's all good. We're loving the elements.
Yeah, how's it going so far?
That's actually the voice. That's the spirit of Trent Baalke.
What's that, Toto? What? Dorothy, what? I think in looking at it, whoever they hire, I'm going to be really excited for and really optimistic about the fortunes because it's just so much better than what it would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, if Trent Baalke was still here. And so anyway, it'll be exciting. But if I had to guess, and it is a guess, I'd say Ian Cunningham.
By the way, I do want to note, Lauren, just so we're all aware, and this is why we love you Heeligans. You're always keeping us posted. T-Jizzle904 just commented on the chat line on YouTube. I'm right here at the flight line on the NAS base. Tell Hayes another flyover.
Yes! Love it.
Thank you, T-Jizzle.
Yes, thank you to that person. Hayes,
We're going to have Kendrick Lamar perform at 1 o'clock, too, here at First Florida Credit
I mean,
Union.
He's like, hey,
Trent. You may as well come down the yellow brick road that is here outside of
that's
First
right.
Florida Credit Union since you mentioned Toto.
Yes.
All right, so, and we could have Toto perform as well.
I love it.
Hayes, going back to your 53, Brandon Sheriff, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Andre Sisco. On your 53 or not?
2 on, 2 off.
Okay.
I think they keep Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, and I think Sheriff and Cisco they move on from. So I think the cap going up a little bit more than teams were projecting. I think that helps Christian Kirk. And I just think with Christian, and they may restructure it and then it becomes a moot point. But I think if they decide we're not going to restructure, we're going to keep him at that number, I really think it helps that Liam Cohen has publicly said that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a role in how we build this, and he's going to have input because you know how close they are on and off the field. And I just think that Trevor will view it. I think you run the risk of Trevor viewing it as a betrayal if you release Christian Kirk, and I don't think Liam Cohen is going to want to take that risk. And I still think Christian Kirk is a very good player. It's unfortunate he's been hurt the last couple of years, but it's not like you're dealing with a torn ACL or a torn Achilles where you're not really sure if he'll be able to get back. I mean, his injury is such in which he should be totally fine for OTAs and certainly training camp. So I would keep Christian Kirk. I would keep Evan Ingram, but Brandon Sheriff and Andre Sisco I would move on to other pastures.
Yeah, and really the relationship between Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence, to your point, is so important. We also saw the relationship between Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence didn't seem to be nearly as good as what you would have expected it to be.
No, it was bad. It was
going
bad
back
at
to the shot really that Doug took at Trevor for flying commercial. You know,
Right.
going all the way back then.
Yeah.
At
Or
the
like-
time we thought it was just funny, but
There
really
was multiple
Well,
in
it-
his press
for
conferences
sure.
where I was
Yeah.
like,
In the
he's
season.
Well, I guess
Absolutely.
it just depends if he maybe has to carry his duffel bag in the other hand. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
needs surgery on his shoulder. There's a bone
There literally was,
protruding.
out of his
There
arm.
literally was a bone protruding out of
Yeah.
his arm when they got back on the flight from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't think we could say it now, and I'm sure Trevor would have no issue saying it. But like, there were people that were on that charter that texted me and said, "There is literally a bone popping
Yeah.
out of him right now." Like, how is this not? Like,
It's incredible. It was.
it's fine. We'll trot him out there in 3 weeks. It's all good.
It was really
He's gotta rub some
unbelievable.
dirt on it.
And
So
I told them when we did our meeting with the positional coaches last year, I chatted with Mike McCoy and I asked him, it's got to be so tough to see someone like Trevor, who you're obviously so close to, working with him every day and having all the different injuries he suffered, right? The 5 different injuries if you include the finger. And Mike McCoy was like, that's football. I just feel like there has to be a better relationship between all of the different people that are connected to Trevor than what we have had here.
yeah, and I, you hope that that's what we'll have. Again, it's a concern that everybody is now. It's the first. Here we go.
T. Chisel,
Here we go.
T. Chisel 904 for the win, baby.
This is awesome.
I mean, if we have any other, as that flies by, if we have any other Heeligans that are at NAS and want to like keep us posted, like 641-1010, if you don't have the live stream pulled up, like we will gladly accept the tip.
I feel like he's going to get in trouble with his boss, like telling people.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
We don't know who T. Chisel 904
Yeah.
Productions
Yeah.
is. It's fine.
Hayes, before we let you go, just remind people about First Florida Credit Union
Yeah.
and what they can get here.
First Florida Credit Union, again, celebrating their 75th anniversary. Come out and see us. We've got Zaxby's in here, so come get a refreshment.
Flyovers.
We got flyovers. Again, I can tell you from experience, I'm the one that I've been a member here for very many years now, and they do such a fantastic job. So, yes, come see us. You guys will be here till 2 o'clock, and really appreciate you guys. And it's a pleasure to be on with you.
Well, we love
Thanks,
getting out
Hayes.
and about. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be listening later today when the Frangie Show is live from UNF Arena from 4 to 6 ahead of the River City Rumble Part 2. Looking forward to that. We've got more to do on the other side. It is Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Intercepted. It's Rasheed Mathis to win it for Jacksonville.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Hey, John, have you heard about the incredible offers at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got rates as low as 3.9% for 36 and 48 months on the stunning 2024 Escalade.
That's right. Experience luxury like never before. Whether it's the exquisite interior or the advanced technology, every drive feels like a royal experience.
Visit Randy Marion Cadillac today on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
And don't forget, Randy Marion is the king of price. Drive and indulge in luxury at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Plus tax tag title 999 admin fee with Persistol and approved credit.
Mia here since 1982. Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. And thanks to Mark Francis and the entire team at Closets by Design, now I have my very own dream space, a beautiful and incredibly functional, well-designed walk-in closet. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com and take advantage of extended savings this month. Get 40% off and another 15% off with 18 months special financing. Closets by Design at 1-800-293-3744.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Clay Solar Installation Partners, your local women-owned solar company. At Clay Solar, we're more than just panels and power. We're about people. We make the switch to clean energy simple, stress-free, and built to last. If you've had a bad experience with solar in the past, we can help. We specialize in dependable solutions and top-notch customer service, so you can finally enjoy the savings and sustainability you deserve. Schedule your free consultation at claysolar.com.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit Rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 20th, 1963, future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Willie Mays becomes the highest paid MLB player, signing a $100,000 contract with the San Francisco Giants.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
Yo, E.T. here, and beat the winter blues with fun activities in Clay County. Some of my personal favorites are a hands-on aquaponics class at Reparation Earth, or diving into the action at Nakima Anime Bar, where you can join weekly gaming and cosplay tournaments. Clay County always has something going on. Plan your next date at exploreclay.com and share the fun at #ExploreClay.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out. You need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world. And you were meant to be here tonight. Their time is done. It's over. This is your time. Now go out there and take it. Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight. One game. Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we stay with them. And we shut them down because we can.
That's right. Some hockey hockey tonight. USA v. Canada in the finals of the Four Nations Cup. We are live here at First Florida Credit Union on Roosevelt Boulevard, right in front of the Super Target in the South Ortega Marketplace. So stop on by, say hello, get some free grub. Get registered for chances to win not just a Visa gift card, a $300 one, but also the Coral Reefer Band that comes to town at Daly's Place Saturday, March 15th.
I have some big news, ladies.
Go for it.
Bigger news than even the Four Nations face-off final game this evening. Thank you to one of our Heeligans who just turned us on terrestrial. I heard you guys are broadcasting somewhere near NAS Jax. I work on the airfield. I am a contractor. F-18s have been flying for weeks. I will give you an update when the next one flies out. So we literally have you covered.
We have all the connections.
All of the folks, thank you, RJ. All of the folks over at NAS Jax, we salute you and appreciate your service, number one.
Look at this cute dog staring.
We also have dogs here. So as if you didn't, if the gift cards that we're giving away, if the ticket giveaway, if that wasn't enough, we also have dogs. But yes, we also will have flyovers at some point. So
when I first got here, there were 2 Navy planes that took off, and then the last 2 have been the F-18 jets. So it's always fun to see the different aircraft carriers, and like we said, we'll bring them to you live because we've got intel
and we've got the updates of when they're coming. So hopefully it won't be during our 1:00 interview with Matt Hamilton from Up and Adams and FanDuel Sports Network.
Sorry, you guys, I have to warn him.
Can you guys schedule no flyovers between 1 and 12 p.m. please?
That would be great.
Yeah. So Mia, I don't know what's a bigger deal tonight: the Four Nations final or the River City Rumble Part 2, as UNF plays host to JU in men's basketball. The women play host to a different team at 5 p.m. I want to say Eastern Kentucky. So you can go to
It's Eastern
UNF
Kentucky
Arena.
because I'll be calling the JU women against them on Saturday.
Go to UNF Arena for the doubleheader, but certainly serious ASUN implications going on as we get close to the end of the regular season here in conference play. And so I don't know which event is a bigger deal.
Yeah, like we detailed, JU is 1 game back of first place, or 2 games back now, and they are in a 2-way tie for third. The Ospreys have a little more ground to make up. They're tied for 4th right now, and so perhaps they're in the bigger need, I guess, would be the argument you can make at 6 and 8 in the conference.
But JU obviously also wants to host some tournament games, so it's a big deal.
And obviously, JU was riding high in first place in the conference when they lost to UNF in the first round of this rivalry earlier this year. And so, yeah, there's a lot on the line, but there's certainly a lot on the line, Taylor, when it comes to the Four Nations face-off as well. I would argue, and maybe there's some smack talk that wants to take place on the chat line or the text line regarding you UNF alums, you JU alums out there. But I would argue there will be more smack talk pre, during, post the hockey championship game tonight.
Yeah, this one's definitely, it's going to be a rowdy one, especially the way that the last game went. And since then, the fire that caught on since. It's funny because I'll see all of these videos, whether it's on TikTok, on X, on Twitter, whatever. And it's people that weren't hockey fans. And then now all of a sudden have been like, why have people been keeping this sport from us? And I was like, nobody was keeping it from you, I promise. But
on a regular basis, an NHL game is not going to have the same juice, the same passion that this, because it's country v. country has.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think the country element always adds something, but this is a hockey game. I mean, when you go to an NHL game, it's 100% all the time. And there's fights, there's fists thrown, there's guys getting checked into the boards, and that's just part of the game. So people who haven't watched the game are like, wow, this is intense, but that's the game. That's part of what hockey is. If you don't play like that, you're going to get killed. So that's why you have certain players in the league that aren't a Connor Bedard, for example, is not the most aggressive hockey player. He's already had multiple injuries, unfortunately. Broke his jaw last year. But the team is so quick to defend him, and so he'll get chucked into the boards, excuse me, and then someone else comes and starts fighting for him, and that's what this game is. And
the enforcers.
Yeah, but they feel the same about their team. I'm not saying that as the same as their country as they do the team, but they're the hockey players are very, very passionate about the sport they play and the team they play for.
I think you could also, and I was reading a book about this over the last week when I was on vacation, you can make the argument, Lauren, and I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this, that once country gets involved, whether it's the World Cup with soccer, whether it's the Four Nations face-off, the Olympics, all of a sudden the ante gets raised a little bit, does it not? And I think that goes for the players, but it also goes for the fans as well. And so that's why I think that's a big part of it. Yes, there's smack talk in hockey, to be clear, regardless, and there's tempers flaring both on the ice and off. But I think when it involves country, it takes it to another level. And once again, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with why the Four Nations face-off is taking place, this is in lieu of an all-star game, a traditional all-star game in the NHL.
They hit the jackpot with this.
Well,
idea.
especially after all the criticism that the NBA all-star game continues to receive year over year, and this past weekend from their own players that they don't want to play and that they think it's dumb.
And just a couple weeks after the Pro Bowl, the games, I'll call them. That's what they call
Where
them.
there's trivia.
But it's really, more of just like some fun exercises and activities to keep people entertained. I feel like the people who haven't been hockey fans, you could do this maybe with the women's college basketball last year when it came to such the attention of the forefront, not just a background sport. You have to wonder, are those people also going to be locked into this year's women's basketball tournament? Same to me now almost with hockey. Yes, you have this now tonight that people, if you're not going to the River City Rumble, I know people will be locked into the hockey game. I can totally understand that because of all of the social media craze that's happened, because of the booing of the anthem, because of the fights. There's so many different aspects of it. There's so many levels of it. But will people then transfer their newfound hockey love to watching the NHL? Will we see a spike in the NHL after this Four Nations concludes tonight? I have no idea.
Yeah, and I don't either. I do think hockey has already started to grow anyways, and especially down here in Florida because of what Tampa and the Florida Panthers have been. It's helped, and here locally with the Icemen, obviously. But I do think that and we talked about this a lot when it came to the Caitlin Clark saga and Angel Reese and all of that. How long was that going to continue? Was that a new built fandom of people, or was it a phase, just like a popularity phase? And I think we'll still see Caitlin Clark is still Caitlin Clark, and we still have seen the sellouts of all of these games and them having to move them to bigger arenas and stuff like that. We'll see the longevity of that and how it lasts. And I think it's the same for this. I mean, are there probably some people who have never watched a hockey game and then we're seeing everyone tweet about it and was like, wow, this is really fun. I want to make this a part of like my viewing experiences moving forward? Yeah. Are there some people who are probably be like, after this, okay, it's not like unless you have a team, because sometimes it's hard. You're not going to just turn on a random Canucks game,
or until the Olympics comes around.
Yes.
And is this great for the Olympics coming in a year, 18 months time? Is that perhaps the play?
Yeah.
Because that's where I go back to. I think there is something to be said when it involves country versus country, as opposed to a random Canucks versus Winnipeg Jets game that maybe you just turn on and maybe it doesn't hit the same way.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see tomorrow, obviously tonight during the game, but then tomorrow also the attention that tonight's game gets. And I do think that there's political elements that are also being brought into all of this. And so it's no longer just a sports thing. You're now, because of the political elements, you are bringing in people that don't pay attention to sports. Literally the other morning we left breakfast and I overheard a woman say, like, she was talking about different streaming packages and she's like, well, I don't need that one because I don't watch sports at all. And of course, like, I'm like,
what?
So, oh my gosh, I'm about to fall over. Like, you don't watch sports at all. Like, what do you do with your time and where does your passion go? But that's neither here nor there. But I do think that type of person, the non-sports person, has been brought in. Some of them have been brought in because of the political elements going on. And so then you're adding people there too who are never going to watch hockey, but they will watch tonight just to see what happens.
Which is interesting because the NHL has always been a very, like, let's leave politics out of everything. And when it was about the kneeling, when it was about all of the different phrases that now we're seeing on the football fields and helmets and all of those things,
or not
NHL has been very vocal about not wanting to make that a part of their brand. So I do think they still want to distance that, but when you're involving your country as a whole and someone boos your country's national anthem, that automatically is going to make you defensive. It's like we've talked about this a lot, where it's like you can pick, like, I can pick on my little brother, but you can't pick on my little brother. And so when you add that element into a game that, number one, it was already there was a lot of excitement going on throughout these anyways, but then you add that and you like make a whole country mad, then yes, you're getting a little extra attention.
Yeah, I'm going to the Rumble tonight. I can't wait. It'll be super fun. Brian graduated from UNF, so obviously he would say swoop right now, but I'm going to record the hockey game that 2 weeks ago I didn't know existed so that I can find out what happened and how it all went down.
Which, speaking of the River City Rumble, Lauren, I do want to make sure our listeners know, we just got a text on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures asking if we're giving away tickets to the River City Rumble. We are not giving away tickets, unfortunately.
But you can buy them at UNFospreys.com.
You can buy them. We are giving away tickets to a concert coming up at Daly's Place.
Come register for the Coral Reefer Band when they come to Daly's Place Saturday, March 15th, as we are live here at First Florida Credit Union on Roosevelt Boulevard. You can also register to win a $300 gift card that First Florida is giving away today, tomorrow, and Saturday. All 3 days, a $300 gift card.
No one gave us the heads up. That's really not a flyover. That's a true just plane taking off.
Yeah, that's a Navy plane.
Yeah. That's just a plane taking off, not the full flyover effect.
But yeah, we will check in with Matt Hamilton on the other side as the fun continues here on Roosevelt Boulevard. He, of course, is from FanDuel Network. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That goes to whoever gets closest to the actual retail price without going over. John, we're going to start with you. Go ahead.
1010, Drew. The price is 1010XL, and it's always right.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional, non-commissioned sales team put your best interests first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them at hodgesmazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Don't miss the biggest basketball rivalry in the city as your UNF Ospreys welcome the JU Dolphins in the River City Rumble. Thursday, February 20th at UNF Arena. North Florida continues ASUN Conference play at home with JU Thursday, February 20th at UNF Arena, tipping off at 8. Visit UNFOspreys.com/buy tickets now to secure your seats. UNFOspreys.com/buy tickets now.
Swoop! What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scotty Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, you know, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
What are the only 2 states that do not observe daylight saving time? The answer next.
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
The only 2 states that currently do not observe daylight saving time are Arizona and Hawaii.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Mia O'Brien here for Pro Jacks Roofing. Here at the Superstation, we talk a lot about pros. Pro football, pro baseball, pro basketball, pro sports. But if you want a true pro when it comes to your roof, you should call Mike with Pro Jacks Roofing. Mike's been in the roofing biz for well over 25 years, and when you call, you don't get a recording, you get Mike himself. Find Mike's cell on ProJacksRoofingFL.com. That's ProJacksRoofingFL.com. Don't rely on the third string option. Call in the starter with Mike at Pro Jacks Roofing.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to DreamfindersHomes.com for more details.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by the First Coast YMCA. Jacksonville native Tayshawn Gelsley from Riverside High School lit up the field this past season on Friday nights. Will now try his skill at Florida State University. Gelsley looks to add to his name to the list of great receivers who once wore the garnet and gold. He recently spoke on his decision to come to FSU and what it's been like since his arrival in January.
Well, FSU has, a history of big receivers, so that was something that, drove me into coming here, signing here. And then, the receiver room here, it's like a brotherhood here. As soon as I got here, I just felt it. We all communicate well, the bond already there. I ain't been here for, less than 2 months. So I really, I like that here.
It's 54 degrees at 12:58. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
1 o'clock hour is here, actually 12:58 on your clock, but who's counting? Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, Lauren Brooks. We are live at the all-new First Florida Credit Union on Roosevelt Boulevard. If you're familiar with the Target on Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Yep. Roosevelt, tomato. Make sure you stop on by and say hi. We are most excited, not just to be here with our friends at First Florida Credit Union, but to welcome on another friend of ours, Matt Hamilton, producer of the Up and Adams Show, formerly of the NFL Network, of course now a part of the FanDuel Network. I texted you this morning, Matt, and you said, it's been too long. I couldn't echo those sentiments more. How are you, my friend?
I'm just excited to be back with you guys. I missed you. Excited to talk some Jaguars football. Had a great chat with Trevor Lawrence the other day, so really excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
I probably should have led with that he is also not only the Trevor Lawrence interview on Kay Adams, but that Matt is also a massive Jaguars fan.
Oh yeah, big fan. I do want to warn you, Matt, that if we've been having some flyovers because we are set up outside and we're near our naval air station. So if all of a sudden you hear some loud flyovers happening, just a warning. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Adds another element to the interview. I like it.
Yes.
The good news is that we do have some of our listeners, Matt, who of course we call Heeligans, that are at NAS Jacks right now, and they are giving us the heads up when the flyovers are coming. So we'll see if the timing works out. You led with it, so let's get right into it. Trevor Lawrence joined the Up and Adams Show for an extremely transparent, a very informative interview earlier this week. You told me off the air that we can talk about it on the air. So explain to us, Matt, how that interview almost didn't come to be.
Yeah, so we were supposed to talk to Trevor in New Orleans during Super Bowl week. His flight was delayed. There was a lot of fog in New Orleans, so they ended up delaying his flight. So by the time he landed, our show was already over. And it just also speaks to the kind of guy Trevor is. He wanted to honor his commitment. So they worked out another time for him to join this past Monday. And, it ended up working out for us because obviously if we had him Super Bowl week 1, we wouldn't have had as much time to talk with him too. The whole Steelers drama hadn't happened yet, so we wouldn't have been able to talk to him about that. So it was kind of, kind of fortunate how it all came together. And again, it just it says a lot about him that he wanted to honor the commitment and come on with us, which was pretty cool.
Let's talk a little bit more about Trevor. There's been a lot of conversations at what tier in the quarterback world Trevor Lawrence is at, and there's a lot of things that have happened, obviously, when we talk about the coaching situations, offensive line, drops, all of these things that have kind of been categorized into why Trevor may not be where people had expected him to be. Give us your thoughts a little bit on where you see Trevor at this point in his career and how much you believe that Liam Cohen can bring out that next level of what he was also able to do with Baker Mayfield.
So I'm still incredibly high on Trevor Lawrence. I think, he's had a lot of things stacked against him, and it's not to make excuses. It's just the reality of the situation when you have 4 different guys calling plays for you and the injuries that he's undergone and continuity issues with the roster and all that stuff. He's just had a lot working against him so far. And I think if anybody is going to bring that level out of him that I think we all know is there, we all know that potential is there, I think it is Liam Cohen. Obviously, we saw what he was able to do in Tampa last year with Baker, which was super impressive. He is an offensive mastermind. Everybody you talk to around the league about him loves him and holds him in really, really high regard. And I think Trevor, the thing that kept coming up in the interview, which again, Trevor didn't throw anybody under the bus. He takes accountability, but when we were discussing, the coaching change and all that, he kept using the word juice and energy. And again, it's not him saying this, it's me reading it. It just seemed like that was a really big theme and fire. And that's what Liam Cohen is bringing here. And it seemed, again, reading between the lines, it seemed like that was what was missing. It seemed like Doug Peterson ran his course, and maybe guys are tuning him out and not really responding to what he was selling. And it seems like this Liam Cohen hire has kind of re-energized that building right now.
Matt, we always have to read between the lines with Trevor because he's so polite and he never wants to throw shade on anyone, even Urban Meyer. And so he doesn't talk about those things, which that obviously makes him an honorable person and character. But yeah, you do have to kind of read between the lines. And I took away from that fantastic interview that Trevor Lawrence is really excited to have his play caller as his head coach.
Yeah. And that's, obviously it was always cloak and dagger with who was actually calling the plays. When did Doug Peterson step in? How much was Press Taylor doing? When, who was calling plays when? There was all that drama that just continued to drag out. So there is clear direction here. It is clear who is calling the plays, and it is Liam Cohen, which he does seem super excited about. And it was interesting too. One of the first things he brought up to us as far as the team was running the football, the emphasis on the run game, and building the passing game off of the run game. And I think you look at almost every quarterback in this league, that's when they're at their best, is when you can build your passing game off of the run game. And I think that was exciting for me to hear because, again, I think that's really going to put him in a position to succeed. I think a lot has been put on his plate and just kind of dumped on him early on. I think having that extra layer of support and taking maybe a little bit off his plate is going to bring another level out of him. And I think bringing in a guy in Grant Udinsky is exciting as well, coming over from Kevin O'Connell and what they were able to do with Sam Darnold this past year. And I think that's what's so exciting about it is you look at what they did with Baker Mayfield, what they did with Sam Darnold, and it's no offense to either of those guys. And they had incredible years, but I think that the skill set that Trevor Lawrence possesses, the arm, the athleticism, all of it is beyond what either of those guys have. So getting guys in that building that run that system, that Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Shanahan type of system, it's just really exciting for Trevor. And I think I love what they've done. I love these moves. And you can say whatever you want about how Liam Cohen comes off in a press conference or whatever. They were saying the same type of stuff about Nick Sirianni, and we saw how that went too.
You can find Matt on X at Matt Hamilton25. He is the senior producer and, of course, on air as well for the Up and Adams show, which you can get 11 a.m. Eastern on FanDuel TV and the MSG Network. Matt is also a quarterback coach for the New Rochelle High School football team. And so, Matt, let's kind of delve into that area of your expertise and continue this conversation along that road. There has been, I don't want to call it criticism, but there have been eyebrows raised at the youth, the average age of the coaching staff that Liam Cohen has assembled. There has also been certainly a pushback of younger voices that understand the modern player. The why is something that the modern player wants. That's something we've heard echoed not just from football minds we've spoken to with here on Helmets and Heels, but we even had Tara Singleton, the JU women's lacrosse coach, on, and she brought it up unexpectedly just about the modern athlete. What do you make of this younger, quote-unquote, coaching staff and that actually being a reality that they perhaps have a better pathway to communicating effectively to this next generation of athletes?
Yeah, I think there really is something to that, and it's about personality. It's about being able to connect with players. And this generation, like they don't want to just be told what to do and go do it. Like, they want to understand why. They ask questions. There's more of a cerebral approach to it. And I think, it's easy to not say, oh, these guys are unexperienced and all this stuff. Like, we've seen a lot of young coaches, especially recently, have a ton of success in this league because of that ability to connect with players. And the older coaches that have had a lot of success, they have evolved. You look at an Andy Reid from a scheme perspective, from a management perspective, how he's evolved since his time in Philly. So the game is changing. The game is constantly changing and evolving, and you have to be able to keep up with it. And I think, I'm excited about this younger coaching staff in Jacksonville. I don't look at it as a negative.
Matt, when we are talking about the offensive play calling and how it can help quarterbacks in certain factors, something that we know Trevor Lawrence can get the ball down the field. That's something that we've seen him be very successful at, and sometimes almost too much to where you feel like the coaches haven't really used what some people say the easy button with Trevor. It's been a lot of just more difficult throws and difficult schemes and asking people to do maybe too much. We saw Joe Brady do it with the Bills and Josh Allen this last year, and how much it helped Josh Allen. How much do you think that a guy like Liam Cohen will come in and throw some of that stuff in with Trevor when it comes to play action and stuff like that to help him out and get these guys on the same page?
Yeah, that's a great point. And you look at Josh Allen winning his first MVP. How did he do it? They took stuff off of his plate, and they ran the ball more. They got him more easy completions. They had more play action, RPO stuff. And I think that is exactly what you're going to see them do with Trevor, both looking at what Liam Cohen did last year, but also with what Trevor was telling us the other day. I think, the fact that that's been such a point of emphasis already in their conversations says a lot to me. And also just the fact I love hearing that the fact that they're having those conversations on that level already is pretty cool and pretty exciting. Like, they are diving into the X's and O's already and trying to get on the same page with this new system. But yeah, I think that's absolutely going to be a part of it, because you're right. Like, so much has been put on Trevor. Just, hey, make things happen down the field. Just, this scheme hasn't been friendly to him in the past. And I think that's something that we're going to finally see for him now.
Matt, in your role, you get to interact with all these different players. Who's been the one that you walked away from the interview going, wow, that person is not who I expected, or they impressed you, or, you learned a lot from that person?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Man, we've had so many. Joe Burrow is always an interesting one. Because he's just wired the way that he's wired a little bit differently. He's so kind of intense and locked in all the time. And there's personality there. He's funny, but like he is, he's just wired a little bit different. There's such a underlying intensity there all the time. And it's different from a lot of other players that we've talked to. I think the other one that was a pleasant surprise was that we talked to over Super Bowl week was Micah Parsons. he's interacted with stuff we've done. We had Debo as a weekly guest on the show a couple of years ago, and he had a lot of things to say about the Cowboys and about Micah, and Micah didn't like him. So there's been interactions with him with some of our clips and things that were said on our show that he wasn't happy with, but he could not have been cooler and nicer to everybody. And he had that ability, I guess, to separate what other people were saying in the show about the Cowboys and about him from the show itself and from Kay. So loved that chat with him. He is he's an awesome personality.
Like Lauren said, you have an opportunity, Matt, to speak to players, coaches, personnel around the National Football League from across the board, as much as, yes, your heart may be here in Duval. So I'm curious, you mentioned about Grant Udinski in Minnesota and the positive returns you've heard on that hire. What was the conversation in Green Bay, the turnaround on defense, bringing in Jeff Hafley, bringing in Anthony Campanile, who, of course, is now the DC here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, when we were up in Green Bay, that was all anybody wanted to talk about, even offensive players. It just how much they loved Hafley, and you got to hope that that's the type of attitude that's coming into Jacksonville now, which is an aggressive mindset. It's competing at practice, trying to challenge the offense, not just, there's some teams, in the way it sounded in Green Bay before with Joe Barry, it was like, okay, I'm going to call plays that kind of complements looks that Matt LaFleur wants to see, or, that looks that he wants his offense to go up against. And Hafley came in and was just like, screw that. I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at him and try to confuse him and try to frustrate him. And the players felt like that was bringing out another level. And you saw the returns. Like, that defense took a big jump this year. The offense, with Love and his injuries and some of the other stuff going on, wasn't as strong. But that defense really took a big leap. And I think bringing that spirit of competition, I think that's something you have to hope for coming into Jacksonville this year to turn this defense around, because there are a lot of talented pieces there. And I don't think they're that far away from getting this defense together. I think it is just going to take the right coach.
Well, Matt, I am happy to report that it is now 1:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we did not have. Did I speak too soon?
It's about to come.
Is the flyover coming? we spoke it and manifested into the universe. No flyover during our chat with you.
Oh, it really is.
Oh my God, it just showed up. Oh my God. I spoke too soon, but you got to fly over. You got to chat with us. We can enter you for the free $300 Visa gift card that First Florida Credit Union's giving away. We appreciate you taking some time during a busy time of the year, my friend, for catching up on all things Jags and beyond.
I can't ask for anything more than that. I appreciate you guys having me. That was a lot of fun, and we got to fly over. You can't beat that.
We will do it. We will do it again soon. I don't know if I can guarantee a flyover next time, but maybe our producer engineer extraordinaire Richie on site. He can create it. So Matt, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
And, of course, again, you can find Matt on the Up and Adam Show, 11 a.m. Eastern on FanDuel TV. Also streams live on YouTube. Make sure you check them out at Up and Adam Show on X as well.
Yeah, really good stuff. If people missed the interview that Kay Adams did with Trevor Lawrence, like Matt said, he got to spend a little more time with her than he maybe would have had it been them catching up during Super Bowl week. So make sure you check that out. We've got more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels live from First Florida Credit Union on Roosevelt Boulevard on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I want more money.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I'm sorry, I can't understand a word that you're saying.
Mornings.
Denied.
On 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me. If you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and bring you back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Staying Alive, one night of the Bee Gees comes to Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts March 6th. A tribute like you've never seen before. Staying Alive features the songs and sights of a full Bee Gees playlist performed live. Experience Night Fever, More Than a Woman, How Deep Is Your Love, and more live on stage. Staying Alive, one night of the Bee Gees March 6th at Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
This Black History Month profile is brought to you by McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Jacksonville native and Pro Football Hall of Famer Harold Carmichael played his high school football at Reigns and was an all-conference receiver at Southern University. And in 1971, Carmichael would be drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, having a stellar career. He would set an NFL record for catching a pass in 127 consecutive games while leading the Eagles to a Super Bowl appearance, and in 1980 would become the NFL's Man of the Year for his work off the field.
Prosser here. No matter what you do, man, you love consistency. And when it comes to selling your home for Chad and Sandy, good times are bad. They're there to help you, and you're going to get the most that you can. The economy actually showing positive signs. Now may be the time to sell your home at the price you want, and it's easy to find out. Get friendly expert help from the Jacksonville agents who are there for you. My agents, Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you need more space with a growing family or working from home. Whatever your reasons, Chad and Sandy come through for you as the local real estate experts I trust and recommend. Chad and Sandy, in fact, will guarantee you this. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. John and Ursula in Green Meadows said, I was not in great health, so we decided to downsize to an easier place to manage. First, we needed to sell our Green Meadows home fast. Unfortunately, after 185 days, our home failed to sell. With another realtor, we made the switch, though, to Chad and Sandy. Sold it in 12 days. You can, too. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200.
Mia here. You want to know what's better than a sale? A sale on top of a sale. I know, right? That's exactly what's going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned during the Everything's on Sale sale. Just how on sale is it? How about zero down and just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2022 Toyota Corolla? Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for zero down and only $388 per month. But that's not all. I mean, this is a sale on top of a sale, folks, where everything is on sale. That's why my friends at Arlington are offering you no payments till July 2025. You heard that right. July 2025, no payments. Plus, Arlington's lot is packed with over 600 vehicles, and you get 60 days to love your purchase or exchange it. It's official. It's a sale on top of a sale during the Everything's on Sale sale at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. That's some kind of sale. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just quarter mile east of 295, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Joe C. for Hard Rock Bet. Football season may be over, but there's plenty of action everywhere else. Not sure what to bet on? Check out the Discover page at Hard Rock Bet. You can download the app or head to hardrock.bet. College basketball, we're closing in on the biggest tournament of the year. Don't go in blind. Bet on the action today. Hard Rock Bet, download the app. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Experience the high-flying action truly unlike anything on the Supercross circuit at Daytona Supercross. Saturday, March 1st. Side-by-side intensity of Monster Energy AMA Supercross on the most demanding track of the circuit. Get close to the action as riders get pushed to the limits on the Ricky Carmichael designed track. For a chance to win tickets to Daytona Supercross, answer this. Who won the 450 Finals Supercross at Daytona in 2024? Text the winner's last name to 641-1010 now.
1010XL celebrates African Americans who positively impacted the First Coast. I'm RJ Saunders, and I'll share Black History Month stories with you throughout February. Black History Month on 1010XL is brought to you by Instant Keys and McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center.
Duck Rooter is the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, and we want to help you protect your septic system. Think about this. What would happen to your car if you never changed the oil? Septic systems are no different and should be pumped at least every 3 years. Lack of maintenance is the #1 reason for septic system failure. Call Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services today to schedule your pumping.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Taylor Dahl, Mia O'Brien. I'm Lauren Brooks, live here at First Florida Credit Union in the South Ortega Marketplace, just in front of the Super Target, 6319 Roosevelt Boulevard. RJ Sunner's back at 1010XL headquarters. And by the way, I meant to mention it earlier, RJ, great job putting together that hockey package to get ahead of tonight's United States-Canada final. Remember to stop on by here. Register for a chance to win tickets to go see the Coral Reefer Band at Daly's Place Saturday, March 15th. Or you can also register for the Visa gift card that First Florida is giving away. One today, one tomorrow, and one on Saturday. So a lot's going on around here. All right, I'm going to give you today's Terminix Pest of the Day. Terminix came to our house a couple weeks ago, took care of our pests. If you have any sort of termite issues, you definitely want Terminix to come on by. They take care of Everbank Stadium, Daly's Place, 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark, the home of the Jumbo Shrimp, so many more. There's a reason for that because Terminix does it right. TERMINIX.com. All right, so in college football, I've already had to deal with NIL, changing the sport as we know it. The transfer portal and the fact that they no longer have to sit out a year to transfer. Everyone's immediately eligible for transferring. I've had to deal with the conference expansion. Do I now also have to deal with the complete and total eradication of the spring game? There is almost nothing I love more in the month of April. I love the Masters, sure. But I love my college football spring games. I don't just watch Florida's. I watch all of the ones I can get my hands on. Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida State, if they were to have one. I don't think they're having one this year. But Texas, Steve Sarkisian announced actually on the Up at Adams podcast that we were just talking about. We're talking to Matt Hamilton, who's the senior producer there. Sarkisian says, yeah, no, we're going to do away with the spring game. We're going to go more of the traditional routes of the NFL. Anti-college football traditional route, but the NFL traditional route, and we're going to do more of like OTAs. We don't want to do that 15 spring practices and then the game. I love the spring game. You cannot take this away from me. I've already had to deal with all of these other things coming into college football.
Here's the interesting part, Lauren. We've spent the better part of this week, and I know the boys of Primetime have certainly run with it as well and picked up the baton from us and led the way, if anything, with Matt Hayes' coverage at USA Today. But what has been our talking point all week? People want more live sports. Yeah. They want more games. That's what leads to more media rights deals. That's what leads to more revenue for the schools. That is what I am most shocked about, is that there isn't a push for more spring games from the universities, because then they can sell it to the Mouse. They can sell it to CBS, et cetera, and turn that into a profit. I guess they still would televise practices, walkthroughs, maybe.
And they're also losing the gate money, because even if you don't charge for a spring game, you're going to have all the concessions. And at a place like Texas, at a place like, for many years, Nebraska was always sold out. Obviously, Ohio State, Michigan, coming off of recent national championships, you're going to get 100,000 people in those stadiums. Yeah. Florida gets somewhere in the ballpark of between 40 and 60,000 each year. But again, and now especially if you're going to charge for these games too, then plus you get the revenue from the TV money, whether it's ESPN or another network. Usually it's an ESPN channel. And so it just, though, I understand you don't want to deal with the injuries and things like that, and maybe you think you're ramping it up too much in the spring. Do a flag football game then, to at least satisfy the fan base, to get some sort of pulse of their football team in April.
Yeah, I feel like the moment they do a flag football game, people would be like, why are we doing this then? Because there's no contact. But also, if the reasoning is you want to be closer to the NFL style of off-season, NFL has two right now, more than that, probably 2 preseason games soon. But right now, 3 preseason games. So no, you're not doing the same thing.
But those are right before the season, and I think that's
which makes less sense.
Yeah,
because to me, if you do it in April and someone gets injured, and it isn't, you have way longer to kind of start to rehabilitate this injury and get ready. We've already talked about this in the NFL, how it doesn't really make sense how the NFL has done it, because we have this weird system of, okay, you're not going to really see anybody in the first game, and then in the second game, you'll see a little bit of the starters, a half of the starters, and then not really in the third game. But you would think it would be opposite to where that first game, the farther away from the actual season, you'd want to do it. And it's just NFL does it weird anyways, and we've talked about how the preseason's strange. But so that doesn't really add up to me that that's where they're like modeling this after. And I also think, though, it's part of college football. College football is so secretive. It's like they don't want you to see anything until you're at the game. And I think that's what it's about in their world.
Yeah, and as we're sitting here discussing it and I'm workshopping it in the back of my brain, my first thought was, well, even if it is just practice, fans want that inside look. Everyone loves hard knocks. Everyone wants to see the behind the scenes. But to your point, Taylor, this is still college football. And the secrets, the not having to release an entire injury report or at least a specific one until the Wednesday before, and even then it's very vague, and that just started, and that's just in certain conferences earlier last year technically. But that's what, like, I think that even with the proliferation of NIL, the transfer portal, all these changes, that part of it is never going to go away. The secretive nature.
It didn't used to be that way, though.
No, it
it's
was.
Evolved. No, it used to be that every single practice
was open.
Yeah, you could go to it. Not just media, but fans, too. And then obviously.
But they wouldn't report on injuries.
Right. I do think part of this is that, let's say Billy Napier, for instance, or Mike Norvell. They don't want other schools to see the talent that they have in the spring game, because what happens after the spring game? A transfer portal window opens up again. You have the second transfer portal window. So now if a guy does get a good look, but he's not necessarily slated to start at your school, well, another team can just easily, even if he's not in the transfer portal, we all know that part doesn't matter, and he can be tampered with and then go to that school. So I just don't love it. I don't love it at all. That's why it's the Terminix Pest of the Day, because I love spring football. I've told the story so many times. I knew that Jake Fromm was going to be a really good starting caliber quarterback at Georgia, and that if Jacob Eason had any sort of injury, that Fromm would step into that role and be probably better than Eason. And I knew that because I watched the Georgia spring game, and the commentators were talking so highly about Fromm, his intelligence with the playbook and all these things. Jaden Baugh, we've talked about it so many times on our show. I would have not known who he was until early in the season.
You came on and you said it that Monday.
I mean, had y'all been in Gainesville watching,
you would have known.
You would have said the same thing. You'd have been like, who is this guy? And how do I not know about him to this point? And I know that some people, are more well-versed because they're on the message boards, if they still exist, but you know what I mean. They're constantly researching all this stuff, and it's more like, I want my tiny little spring game in a package. I want to go to Gainesville. I want to watch that. I want to come home with all this information, and then I want to be excited or not as excited about the next football season.
Yes, thank you to Andre, who sent to us on Twitter, and I apologize that we missed this. I don't know if you knew, Andre. It's been a little busy around here in Duval County. Also, I took a vacation. Matt Rule did say, as Lauren alluded to, quote, the word tampering doesn't exist anymore. Right. It is absolutely a free, open, common market. I don't want these guys all being able to watch our guys.
Yeah.
So that's on college football, too, because we've already talked about how the way they do the transfer portal, the way, when it opens, how many times it opens, the time frames are weird anyways. So if this starts to be a thing and they don't want to have this spring game, and then now college football is losing money for it, maybe we see them reevaluate how the timing of when the portal opens.
I would love that. Do something productive, NCAA. By the way, I could have made the Pest of the Day, brought to you by Terminix, the people who stole Carson Beck and his girlfriend's vehicles overnight. But I think so many people are like, a 22-year-old shouldn't be driving a Lamborghini and things like that.
Well, it's 3 total cars, which I was like, why do the 2 of them have 3 total cars?
But also, how many thieves were involved in this? Because they had
the same ones that just got caught in the other ring.
Gosh.
But yeah, I mean, I know that anytime you've had anything stolen from you, even if it's something as simple as your laptop or your phone, and I say simple, those are important, but nothing financially that costs as much as $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 car. Anytime you've had anything stolen from you, you just feel,
like, who would do this? Like, your instant thought is
absolutely, you feel so betrayed. And so, it could have been that, but I went with the fact that I might be losing my spring game. And I know all of you out there who love college football as much as I do are upset about that as well. We've got 1 segment to go here live from First Florida Credit Union on Roosevelt Boulevard on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Follow the JU Dolphins on 1010XL.
It's Fins Up and Swoop. River City Rumble Part 2. JUUNF. Tonight at 8 on 1010 AM.
Don't miss the Players' Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash, there are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Tired of a plain and boring backyard? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop choice to beautify your home. With pavers, stonework, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, pergolas, and driveways. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Yo, E.T. here, and beat the winter blues with fun activities in Clay County. Some of my personal favorites are a hands-on aquaponics class at Reparation Earth, or diving into the action at Nakima Anime Bar, where you can join weekly gaming and cosplay tournaments. Clay County always has something going on. Plan your next date at exploreclay.com and share the fun at #ExploreClay.
To catch more fish, you gotta think like a fish. Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services, and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hello, I'm attorney Malcolm Anthony. Being charged with domestic violence can turn your life upside down. If you're in trouble, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out. You need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Hey folks, Nick here for Zero Res, and if you still have a little bit of time for the hottest price of the year on carpet cleaning, maybe you had people over for the game or you're doing early spring cleaning, but in February, only $147 for 3 rooms, plus the 4th room is free. That's right, schedule now and you'll get 3 rooms for $147, and the 4th room is free. Yeah, the 4th room is on me. Hottest price of the year. Zero Res. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Our thanks to our friend Randy, who just came over to chat with us, and the entire First Florida Credit Union team.
He's a fellow Gator, by the way.
Yes, he was just telling us about bringing his son to Condon Ballpark for the first time.
Condon, yep.
Yep, Condon in his first Alex Condon.
I know. Trust me, it's very difficult to keep it all, sorted out.
Yes, exactly. All these names. But yes, our thanks to Randy and company for having us out here today. We've had an absolute blast. Thank you to all the Heeligans who have kept us abreast on the very latest, live from NAS Jacks. Randy and the team is getting an absolute kick out of it. We are as well. We hope you guys have had fun with us over the last almost 2 hours.
Yeah, can they send us out with like a trio maybe of Jets?
Well, I
feel like our
hope
swan
so.
song should kind of be here live at First Florida Credit Union Roosevelt Boulevard. I feel like it should be multiple, although that's probably the flight pattern. But
now that we know we have enough NAS Jacks employees that are a part of Heeligan Nation, Lauren, part of me is we need to start using this to our advantage. We need to bring flyovers to every one of our remotes now. I'm very excited about this. So for those of you who've chimed in on the text line, the digital chat line, shout out to our friend T Jizzle 904. Yeah, we would love to keep the party going at a different locale as well. But we will also want for First Florida Credit Union to be remembered for this monumental Helmets and Heels live remote production.
Absolutely. Thanks to Michelle and thanks to Stu for having us, as well as Hayes Carline, who stopped by with us earlier. And remember, you can stop in to register to win a pair of tickets to go see the Coral Reefer Band, the Jimmy Buffett tribute band, live at Daly's Place on Saturday, March 15th. You can also register to win a $300 Visa gift card that they'll be giving away today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Like I said, 6313 Roosevelt Boulevard is where you'll find them.
By the way, I was alerted we have more Zaxby's either that just arrived or coming. So there's also free food right now here at Roosevelt. Roosevelt.
It's like the president.
I didn't know.
Roosevelt.
I said Roosevelt. Okay. I'm learning something new every day. So make sure you stop on by. There's free food as well. Thanks to our friends at First Florida Credit Union, who I was also informed there is an incognito Heeligan. Not that he doesn't want to admit that he's a Helmets and Heels fan, Lauren. And now I think this will be hilarious in hindsight to admit this to the world. I won't say his name. But apparently, our one troll on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, and Twitter that loves to rib Taylor Dahl about being a Bears fan because he is a Packers fan. We now know where he works, or at least I do. She does not know the identity of that person, but good to know. We can now put a face to a name of one of the Packers fans who we appreciate listening to Helmets and Heels each and every day.
Interesting. Yeah, we sent Taylor Dahl off. She has some personal business to attend to, so we'll catch up with her tomorrow. I did want to touch on the River City Rumble tonight, live at UNF Arena, tipping off at 8 o'clock as far as the men's basketball is concerned. In the first matchup, Rob McCray had 26 points, Mia, but JU did lose 81-78. Meanwhile, on North Florida's side, they had 4 different players in double digits. What do you think it's going to take tonight for JU to win? What do you think it's going to take tonight for UNF to win?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the question mark for JU all season long. The idea of, can you have someone not named Robert McCray carry you if need be?
And they did win a couple games when he was out injured.
Correct. And Zach Bell has certainly taken a step forward in his second year under Jordan Mincy's tutelage at JU. Jakari Spence, the grad transfer point guard, you saw in that loss to Florida Gulf Coast where, yes, they blew the 24-point lead. Jakari Spence misses the final 4 minutes with a mysterious injury. He was the one who, I think it was cramps officially diagnosed. Don't quote me on that. Where he dribbles the ball, looked at the ref, bounced it out of bounds and was like, please, let us call a timeout because I have to get off the floor. You saw, without having the presence of a true point guard, how that directly affected their lineup. And in speaking with the JU coaching staff, they said Jakari's kind of the unsung hero, and having, if it's not him, if it's somebody else who steps in at the point, whether that's, him or Chris Arias, the freshman from Providence High School here in Jacksonville, having them run the point has allowed for Rob to create and hunt his shot and be truly the best defender on that team. And so that's where I look at it and I say we've seen even more of the preseason All-ASUN selection in McCray because of those other pieces. Now, if there's a night where, let's be real, it happens every night that he takes the floor. If he's getting double and triple teamed, can someone else step into that role, whether it's Zimmy, whether it's Stephon Payne in the paint? Can someone step up and create offense for JU when they need it most?
Right, and for North Florida, obviously, a lot of it comes down to how many threes are they going to hit? The Birds of Trayer have that nomenclature for a reason. That's obviously the style that Matthew Driscoll has instilled in that program for so many years. And it's an energy in which the Ospreys play, too. I was told that the lower bowl is sold out at UNF Arena tonight, but there are still general admission tickets. That was as of yesterday. I would assume that there are still GA tickets available. That means you'll sit upstairs. Make sure you go to UNFospreys.com. Obviously, there's no bad seat in UNF Arena, and it's a really lively atmosphere, and looking forward to seeing exactly what Jordan Mincy does after these two teams have already faced one another, and of course what Matthew Driscoll does to counter as well.
Yeah, and certainly if the threes aren't falling, how does UNF respond?
Sure.
Because that same Florida Gulf Coast team that, yes, came back from a 24-point deficit at Swisher Gymnasium back at the end of January, they also, quite frankly, had perhaps the hottest start to a game I've seen in any basketball game I've covered or called this year when they went to UNF Arena 2.5 weeks ago. And that was a game in which UNF shot less than 15% from three-point range. How can you find a way to generate offense if the three-point shot isn't falling? Because there's going to come a time, especially, yes, I know they're already into the ASUN Conference Tournament, but there's going to come a time where you can't just tip your cap and say it's not our night just because the three isn't falling. How can UNF try to utilize their true freshman, who in my estimation, should be a ASUN all-rookie team member? We'll see if he is, and Josh Harris. How can you consistently continue to go into the paint with him? And I understand you don't necessarily have the veteran presence you did once upon a time in the front court.
But you have Liam Murphy now. The grad transfer from Columbia.
He could do a little bit of everything. Obviously, he's the top three-point shooter in the ASUN Conference. I'm double-checking to ensure, yes, he is. He shoots the three ball at a 41.3% clip. And so, yes, you have Liam, but what happens if Liam's shot isn't falling? What happens if Josiah Miles, and he's the leading scorer for UNF, by the way, his three-point shot wasn't falling in that game? And so it really wasn't until the second half that clearly the directive to Josiah was get to the rack. Just get to the free throw line. Try to muscle your way in. We have to create offense somehow. And so that's what I'm most curious to see in this game. For these two teams, if that offense is stifled in their traditional go-to way of scoring, how do they respond?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Like I said, tips off at 8 o'clock tonight at UNF Arena. A couple soccer notes for you, Mia. The girls soccer tournament, which is going on at Lake Myrtle Sports Complex in Auburndale, the 5A Ponte Vedra Sharks beat North Fort Myers 2-1 yesterday. So that means Ponte Vedra is in the state championship game. That comes up Saturday at 1 o'clock against Lourdes. And then in 6A, Bartram Trail takes on Sun Lake today at 4 p.m. Like I mentioned yesterday, Bishop Kenny unfortunately eliminated, but a really good season for the Crusaders. And then as far as boys soccer, the state semifinals in the 2A, Episcopal beat Williston 3-1 yesterday, so they play at McClay tonight at 7 o'clock. Again, boys soccer state semifinals. I never got to make it to a semifinal as far as the state is concerned. I made it as far as regional finals, so it came up just one game short of that Final Four. So I like to mention it because I know it's super exciting for all of these student athletes. One thing we did not
I don't think you mentioned, by the way, St. John's Country Day also advanced back to the Final Four for
very nice
for girls soccer as well. Thank you to our friend John Scromolo, the AD.
Okay,
I
saw that they were playing.
Up, and here we go.
Yes, another flyover.
It wouldn't be our final segment of today's program. Maybe we'll have one more. We've still got 10 minutes to go. Maybe NAS Jax has some more fun and stuff. Oh, there we go. Back to back. We wanted a plane flyover. Here they come. Oh,
Thank you.
How fantastic is
Yeah,
this?
serving our needs every day.
They serve our
At
country. They
NAS
serve
Jazz.
our needs. I love it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, St. John's Country Day.
Yes, I saw that they won. I wasn't sure if they were already in the state semifinals or if they had advanced to the regional finals. But
Nope. So
certainly
they
should be a prize
they
for that
won
as well.
yesterday the region with a victory over University Christian.
Oh, right. Good stuff there. A traditionally powerhouse. in
Yeah,
soccer
I mean,
program
if you
there.
guys don't know, like, Google St. John's Country Day girls soccer, and I mean a run of 10 straight state titles, I believe it was. It was 10 or 11. They've been to the state title game like 26 times or something like that in the last however many. It's a stat that you need to marvel
It's
at.
kind of similar to Bulls football once upon a time. One storyline we didn't get to yesterday, I want to touch on it now before we turn it over to XL Primetime. Could Justin Fields land with the Jets? I know Jeremy Fowler said that the Jets like the idea of a dual threat quarterback, and he's told that Justin Fields has looked at the Jets roster, and again, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, Fields sees some intrigue there.
Yeah, and I saw this floated on. I have no intel on it, but I've seen it floated on the internet a little bit the last 24 hours. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, what does that mean? Does that mean you're drafting a quarterback? Does that mean you're re-signing Russell Wilson? Does that mean you're going to be in the Sam Darnold sweepstakes? For me, the logical answer
and Sam Darnold's not. I wouldn't call him as a dual threat quarterback.
You're also going to have to pay him way more money than you'd have to pay Justin Fields, who appeared in 6 games last year, and Sam
knows the system.
And Sam Darnold went to a Pro Bowl last year, and so while yes, he certainly floundered in the one and done postseason game for the Vikings, and so maybe that brings that final number down a little bit in terms of his value on the open market. You're going to get Justin Fields at a better rate, and he knows the system.
Maybe you keep Justin Fields and then you draft a guy. Who would you say is a guy
Jackson
that's going
Dart.
to be? But yeah, maybe Jackson Dart. Maybe a Jalen Milroe as far as lower down.
That's if you keep Fields, though.
Right. That's
Like
what I mean. You keep Fields and then you draft a dual threat quarterback, not in the first round, and you see if you can groom him.
Although one interesting storyline, I have felt for weeks now, Lauren, that the logical solution for the Cleveland Browns to their quarterback dilemma is to reunite Kevin Stefanski with Kirk Cousins on the vet league minimum. Have Kirk take that just after the Falcons inevitably release him, just like Russell Wilson did last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a one-year deal, and then you sort out the Deshaun Watson mess from there. What if the Pittsburgh Steelers try to have lightning strike the same place twice and say, we're just going to sign Kirko on a 1-year league minimum? It's fine. Like, we're just going to literally kick the can further down the road in finding an eventual successor to Ben Roethlisberger in the Steel City.
Kirk Cousins?
I'm just saying, they've done more with less. A year ago, when you heard Russell Wilson to the Steelers, your reaction was probably similar.
Well, my reaction then was Russell certainly needed a different set of, players around him. It did not go well at all in Denver, and so certainly a fresh start would help. But I thought Justin Fields would beat out Russell Wilson and would be the solidified starter. So I was really surprised to see that Russell Wilson was able to hold on to the starting job for so long.
Which means then your perception of Russell was that he's probably not a long-term starter in the National Football League moving forward, which is that what your perception of Kirk Cousins is here in 2025?
I think I'd rather have Russell Wilson than Kirk Cousins.
Now you would.
Forward.
A year ago, though, what would you have said?
Yeah, a year ago I would have said Kirk Cousins, but that's what you get when you get to see an entire year play out, is what they look like with the new team. Obviously, we thought, a lot of people thought, I should say, that the Falcons, I think I said the Falcons were going to win that division. I
did not, but I was in the same boat.
I love Kyle Pitts and certainly Bijan Robinson and Drake London and all the different guys that they had, and obviously that's not the case. That wasn't the case.
678 off the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. AA Ron to Pittsburgh. Man, do you want Hard Knocks
I don't think
to take the
that.
Steelers?
Talk about if the Steelers want a dual threat quarterback, that is not Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Well, the Jets want a dual threat quarterback. That's why they're getting
Oh, that's true.
They're getting rid of Aaron Rodgers for that reason. So maybe the Steelers say, yeah, we worked out going to the retirement home last year. We're gonna do it again. Yes, 678. Be happy that Taylor Dahl left to attend to some personal business, because I'm sure she would have something to say. She's probably driving in her car right now, and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe Aaron Rodgers. Quick NBA note for those of you who may have missed it: the Pittsburgh Steelers, LOL. The San Antonio Spurs have announced they are shutting down Victor Wembanyama for the remainder of the season with a deep vein thrombosis
in
his
clot.
right shoulder.
Yeah, that's a blood clots are really scary. I'm glad that they discovered it when they did so that he didn't have any further medical issues. But yeah, unfortunate to not see the Frenchman play out the rest of the season.
Well, especially in light of, one storyline in the NFL we really almost forgot about, Lauren, was Christian Barmore, the promising Alabama product with the New England Patriots, expected to take a leap with them. And I understand Gerard Mayo, it didn't work out. But a big reason I think that defense didn't work out is arguably the straw that stirs the drink was facing a blood clot battle of his own, and we still don't know exactly what his long-term prognosis is.
Absolutely. All right, let's say hello to Leon Searcy.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Leon, we've experienced a few jets flying over us here from NAS Jacks as we're live at First Florida Credit Union on Roosevelt Boulevard. So that led me to wonder, were you a cry during the national anthem or stoic face, smile? What was your posture during the anthem?
Well, during the national anthem, you know what? If I can recall correctly, I think the national anthem, I'm not sure if it was played while we were out. I think we were in the locker room when the national anthem was played.
Interesting.
Okay. Because we've seen, obviously, Nick Sirianni with the tears streaming down, Chris Jones with the tears, and I was like, I don't think I know that, but maybe, like you said, times have changed.
Yeah,
What's coming up for y'all today?
Well, we're going to talk about Carson Beck had an incident in Miami that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the GM position and a little hoops. And we got Leroy Butler coming in as well to talk.
Oh, very nice.
All right. In the house?
Huh?
In the house or calling in on the phone?
Oh, he's calling in. I wish he could have came in the house. He's calling in.
I was going to say, I was planning on going home to finish my work today, and now I'm like, man, if I knew Leroy was in the house, I'm sprinting to 1010XL HQ to see our good friend, of course, the Riverside and Florida State product. Which brings me to, Leon, I haven't asked you yet. Edgar Bennett, wide receivers coach hired for the Jaguars, obviously has the same exact pedigree as Leroy in that, obviously, Riverside and Lee High School at the time, under the tutelage of Corky Rogers, then goes to Florida State. What did you make of that hire by Liam Cohen? Because for so many fans who were clamoring for who's the veteran presence, former OC under Mike McCarthy, that's a pretty under the radar hire, if you ask me.
It is. Edgar Bennett, I think it's a nice hire. I mean, listen, we're going youth. I'm all into the youth movement. I mean, a lot of the coaches that he's hiring, don't have really that much NFL experience, but we've affectionately labeled them the young guns. So we're going to ride with it. Yeah, young guns, yes. So the youth movement is on.
Here at First Florida, the sun's out, so that means the guns better be out.
I better.
All right, Leon, thanks so much. We'll be listening.
You got it.
All right, there he goes. XL Primetime comes up next, but that's going to do it for us. We appreciate our engineer, Richie, being here live at First Florida.
Yeah, Richie!
We also appreciate everyone here at First Florida and Hayes Carline as well. These heels are made for talking. We'll talk to you tomorrow. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. Don't go anywhere.